Now, writing is so important. Without good writing, the student will never be able to get an interview. The student need to get to the top 4% to be able to get the interview. Now, what I'm going to do is to show you quickly the sort of performance in a scholarship report to be able to get an interview and go on and win a scholarship. Now, guys, this is an example of a report you get from a scholarship test. Now, all the scholarships that are early tend to be run by a company called Academic Services. And yeah, so short is AAS. Now, if you look at the result, you see they divided into 5 areas. Now, actually, that area 1 there is a single test. Okay, so that actually a single test. Now, that has about 70 to 75 question. It is English reasoning and math. Now, this area, you would call it the general ability. Now, the student need to get into the top 4%, to do really well. Then the next major test is math. So that test number 2 there. Now, math, this student also get to the top 4%. The third test is reading comprehension. Now, the student also get to the top 4%, and writing is very, very important. I noticed that the student generally will not get an interview unless the student also get to the top 4%. All right, so you see that is the magic, your number there, the top 4%. Now, generally, when the student can get every area into the top 4%, the student will get an interview. Now, the other thing I noticed is that this student, for example, doesn't have any of the area get to the top 1%. For example, right here, right here, right here, right here. Now, if the student get into two areas, get to the top 1%, the chance is that the student will get a full scholarship. That is 100%. Now, so that is actually what we should be aiming for. Now, this result you see here will not get to the level to get 100%. Now, this result is another interesting one. Now, you see that this student get into the top 4% for reasoning. The only area that fall out of the top 4% is math. Now, but the interesting thing is the student get absolutely top 1%, or maybe the best ever result in writing. Now, this student receive a full scholarship, 100%. All right, here I have another one for you. Now, this one coming from a different company. It comes from a company called Acer. In this result, the student have performed exceptionally well. You probably look at something like top 4% in reading, your humanity here. And then also around the top 4% in math here. And this is probably around top 3% or 2% in writing. All right, so this student received 100% scholarship to a top private school. Now, this is another ACE result. This student is insane. It's just incredible. The performance. Now, the reading is probably around top 4 or 5%, but the math is pretty much top 1%, and the writing is top 1%. This is really incredible. And as a result, the student also received a full scholarship. Now, this particular student is pretty amazing. Not only that he achieved excellent result in the ACER test, but also in the academic services test as well. And as a result, he received 4 full scholarships at 4 top private schools. That's pretty amazing. Now, this is just to give you a glimpse of the sort of writing training that the student will get. Now, apart from so many modules that support student in writing, now this one is a particular one that designed to help the student to get to the top year level. Now, I call it copycat. Now, the idea is to help the student to write really well, but I encourage students to copy ideas from books and other sources. Now, this module is heavily backed up by the AI, and it has been designed so that the AI continuously give the student feedback and marking and get them to the top year level. Now, so the student go to show all the prompt to get access to the writing prompt. But if you notice at the top, there are other modules here that I recommend students to use to improve their writing skill. So you have sentence assistant, the paragraph assistant, English tenses, theme assistant to help students to weave a theme into their story. And there's another module called writing a competition. Now, this is interesting too because the writing competition module is where the best student on my website write, and they have really good score there. Now, if a kid can get to the top rank and get high score in a competition, they are right at the level to do well in scholarship tests. Now, if you click on show all the prompt, I divide it into Cambridge Selected, Scholarship, and NAPLAN. Now, students go into scholarship. Now, what I have here are all the old scholarship, all the prompt for those things that I collect over so many years. And the student can practice on these real scholarship prompts. Now, they can see samples that generated by the AI. They can use a prompt and they will practice their writing. So for example, if you use a prompt, you get in, you see the prompt, and then, the writing area here, you can get feedback from the AI. You can request the AI to generate a sample. The writing, after the student finish, they can request the feedback first, and then they can improve their writing according to the feedback. Then they can select mark by AI. Now, the AI will do the marking. And generally, when the AI award the kind of mark around 83%, just over 80, toward 85, the student would get to the level that they can score top 4% in a scholarship test. Yeah, all right. So now the student can look at all their work. Now, as admin, I can see the work, written by many students here. Now, and I show you the sort of writing from students who are capable of winning scholarships. Okay, now let's have a look at one. So let's have a look at that one. Now, so this is a writing work of a student who have won a scholarship. Okay. Now, you look at that now. You can get feedback on the work. So click on that. We'll send off to the AI. Okay, so here you have the full your feedback from the AI. Very, very informative. Got feedback. Now, you can request mark by AI. So let's try that. Okay, so the marking by AI has been done. Now, the AI awards 79 out of 100 for this work. Now, that is actually pretty good. Around 80 plus is the point where the work should be able to gain top 4%. All right, so here, you have the feedback. You can use the feedback and you can work on your thing, and the feedback go really deeply into techniques and theme and the entertainment value of the story. Then it also generate an improved version. Now, what happened is that it take the story, then it will improve that a little bit according to what it think. Now, an improved version, if I copy it and put it back and run through the marking, it will reach around 85%. Okay, so apart from a massive amount of modules designed to train students in writing, the ultimate module that put everything together is Copycat. It will help students to get to the top. Now, as you say, I have so many modules for writing. I have Story Starter, where it trains students to get started writing the orientation of a story. I have Writing Planner that will help the student who don't know how to write at all getting started. I have Read, Summarize, and Write that have around 150 words written by adults. And the student can read, summarize, and then recreate the story in the process of improving themselves by borrow ideas from other people and then learn the technique and write to improve the writing skill without worrying about ideas. Module to train students in punctuation. I have the writing workshop. Now, it has so many videos helping the student in terms of grammar, sentence, improving, their expression and all that kind of thing. And word choice assistant help the student to improve their word choice for their sentences, helping the student. Now, this one is a sentence assistant helping students to write correct sentences, good sentences. The paragraph assistant helping the student to practice on writing a single paragraph. Now, if they can do that well, then later the skill will go into the composition of a whole text. And finally, they get to Copycat. Now, I also have a module called Selective Writing. Now, what it does is that the student can write in real time with a restriction in terms of the limit of time. Okay, and then they can go to Learn and they go to look at student works. Now, here I have plenty of work that have been done by the student in the past. Now, all my scholarship winners are in here. Now, this allows the student and parent to read through and look at all these work by student in the past. Now, I used to have a tutor running, live Zoom session. And yes, so we have work that marked by hand. You get the annotation by hand, pointing exactly to what the problems are, what good, what not good. And so this is a gold mine. This is an absolute gold mine dated back so many years. The work from the top student. Yeah. And so by referring to all this, the student and the parent get a very good idea what sort of writing will be at the top.